Colorful, huh? Today is polishing, and there's really no big mystery to it. It's just a little bit of information and a lot of work and a little bit of experimentation. In the Rio catalog, where they have all of the buffing wheels, there's a chart. Now this is in a 2013 book, and it's on page 363. And this really takes a lot of the mystery out of the whole polishing thing, because it tells you what the wheels are, the buffing wheel, whether it's tightly woven, loosely woven. It gives you the polishes on the side, and it tells you whether it's pre-polish or cut and polish or final polish. So I don't know whether this is online or not. I'm pretty sure it is, but this is another reason to sign up for Rio and get their tools catalog. Now, for your initial work on the wheel, what you want is a tightly woven wheel, and this is Tripoli. Tripoli is brown, hyphen is white. These are probably the only two that I would use in the beginning. These are mildly abrasive, so they take scratches out. You won't get a high polish with them, but they take scratches out. Now, if you have a piece of work that has fine detail in it, like this will smooth all of those out, because this is like super fine sandpaper, right? So when you've gone over your piece, normally you would use a flat piece with this. If you're doing overlay or applique, this will round off the edges of the metal. So be aware of that. We have a different process for taking care of fine work that you don't want to round off. So this is just to take all of the scratches out. Yeah. So your sandpaper takes the file marks out. This takes the sandpaper marks out. Now once you're done with this, you're going to go on to rouge. And for rouge, what you want is a really loosely woven wheel. And they sell all kinds of things that they call rouge in different colors, but rouge is French for red. This is black, which gives you a super high shine on silver. Yeah. Now, if you're in a classroom situation, what you need to have is you need to have your own set of buffs. And you can see that I've written rouge on this one. They should be in a plastic bag, and they should be in your toolbox, because if you go into the polishing room and you go to the Tripoli wheel and you see red on it, you know somebody's put the wrong stuff on the wheel. That means that it won't work well for taking scratches out, and it will never ever give you a high shine. So guaranteed, a classroom polishing situation, guaranteed they'll do the wrong thing with the wheels. It doesn't matter how much you try to say, don't mix these up, be aware. Don't mix them up, be aware. Have your own, keep them separate in your toolbox in a plastic bag. It's the only way to know what's happened with these wheels. Okay, enough preaching. For my hammers, I get a high polish on my hammers by using a really hard wheel. It's fibrous, but you can see how tightly woven it is. And I use Cabramax. Cabramax is gray. Cabramax. It's just for polishing steel. And once again, if you go into the polishing room and you see the bloody Cabramax next to the Tripoli wheel, You wonder what on earth they're thinking. Anyway, this is just for polishing steel. Keep that completely separate. And when you use the Cabramax, you'll get a fairly high shine, but to get a high shine on steel, then you go on the Tripoli wheel. Yeah. So the next thing is polishing something that has a lot of texture in the surface that you don't want to lose. Now the only way that you can do that is to bring up the silver and put it in a tumbler. A tumbler is non-destructive. And bringing up the silver is just annealing the piece, quenching it, pickling it, taking it out, annealing it, quenching it, pickling it 5 times. 5 times is the rule of thumb. And you'll be able to tell when it's ready just by the fact that when you heat it up, it doesn't turn black anymore. It stays a silver color. Yeah. Now, you can do that on either silver or gold. If you anneal this, what happens is when it gets black on the surface and you pickle it, you're leaving a fine silver coating on the surface. Same thing with gold, except that when you anneal it and pickle it, you're leaving a fine gold coating on the surface. So that when you tumble this, you have a shiny, pure silver surface, and when you tumble the gold, you have a shiny, pure gold surface. It's fairly thin. What you don't want to do is bring up the silver and then hit it. You think, oh, well, I'll just get a high shine by hitting it on the rouge wheel. Don't do that. It'll take your coating off and you'll be back to fire scale. So when you're ready to start polishing, no loose clothes, no loose jewelry, safety glasses. Make sure that the wheel is the correct wheel. In this case, Tripoli. Charge the wheel. What you do is you spin it up, lightly touch your compound onto the wheel. For rings, I use a wooden ring mandrel. And what I'll do is I'll do half of this. Now, you have to lean against the wheel a little. You can't let it just dance around on the surface. So you can see that we've gone from the plain to shiny. Now that looks shiny, 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 but the truth is it's not as shiny as it can be. So get it. Get the edges, get everything as nice as you can get it. So you think it looks really good, then wash it. Soap and water, toothbrush, or the ultrasonic. And then you go to rouge. Always wash in between. Otherwise you'll contaminate your rouge wheel and you'll never be able to get anything shiny, as shiny as it should be. Don't wear gloves. Gloves can get caught in the wheel. Use a pinch grip, which means that it's like this. If it catches on the wheel, it'll just come out of your hands. It won't damage you. So work on 1/4 of the wheel from the middle down close to the bottom. Never go on the top of the wheel. Mostly it's just in front of you. Okay, I'm happy with that. And now we'll go to the other side of the wheel. Now ideally you'd have these separated by a long distance, but the truth is most of us can't afford to have 2 separate ones of these. And this works okay for hobby jewelry. So I've put my polishing buff on this side, and I'm going to use the black rouge. And you just, a little bit, just enough to color the wheel. And all rouge does is make the metal shiny. It won't take out any imperfections. All it does is shine the metal. So if you have scratches and you just go to rouge, you'll have shiny scratches. So do your first work on your Tripoli or hyphen, and then rouge, and then that's it. Wash it, and when you dry it with a tissue or a really soft piece of cotton. Don't dry it on your t-shirt, you'll scratch it again. So once you've gone over it with the rouge, it shouldn't take much because all of your preliminary work's been done. Wash it and you're finished. Now when you're polishing, when you're washing your pieces, wash your hands too, because this small amount would be enough to contaminate your wheel. Yeah? So just scrub up a little bit at the same time. I know it's pedantic, but it's what we do to make the pieces nice. So this is our polished with Tripoli and then rouge, half of a copper ring. So that's what we started with. Oxidized, and that's the finished product. And this was the ring we made the other day, and you can see the difference between just polished with Tripoli and polished with rouge. Rouge makes it really shiny. Now oftentimes when you're polishing with rouge, there'll be black marks on your piece. The black is just rouge, don't worry about it, it'll wash off. Sometimes you'll have to put a little more rouge on the wheel to get it to take that off. But like I say, don't worry about it. The little black marks are just rouge. And it's the same with Tripoli. Oftentimes, because the abrasives are held on with wax, the wax will collect on the wheel and then transfer to the piece. It's not a problem, it'll wash off. So that's the first lesson on polishing. Next lesson will be on using the tumbler, and it's a slightly different story, but part of the same picture. Ciao.